Hey everybody, welcome to We Live Here, We Love Here, We Work Here, another edition of Sold by Sonnie. Today I've got Jeff Steffens here from Top Line Home Loans, which is a division of
Fairway Independent Mortgage.
Fairway Independent Mortgage. We know that a lot of people out there right now are struggling with, they want to buy a house, but maybe their credit's not so good. And I know, Jeff, you've got a lot of ways to help them with that.
Yeah, we have quite a few different options that we can run through. But, maybe we start with what some of the quickest fixes might be to credit. So what you should probably know, each different product in the mortgage world has a minimum credit score that you need to attain, right? Most people talk about conventional mortgages, and that stops at a 620 minimum. But what they don't know is that with an FHA loan, or a governmental loan, right? You can go down to 580 with most lenders. And if you have a down payment, you can go even lower. Now, traditionally, if you have a score less than 580, you probably don't have a big down payment. So we'll save that for another segment or another time when we do this. But what most people don't know is that your balance on your credit card against your available limit is the single greatest way to impact your score the fastest.
Did you hear that, folks? Say that one more time for the folks in back.
Your balance against your available limit is the fastest way to impact your credit score. So let's say you've got a credit card and you've been paying on time for the last 3 years. You're bullets. You've never missed a payment. You've never been late. You're doing fantastic. It's a $3,000 limit and you got a $3,000 balance. You are negatively impacting your credit score every single month. To make your credit score increase and to have a significant bounce in credit score, pay the balance below 50% of the available credit and keep it there. As soon as you go over 50% of your available balance, your credit score starts to get dinged and it becomes a negative because your utilization, even though you're paying it, even though you're right on schedule, your utilization of that credit has increased and there's no available credit left. So if there is another emergency or something is a hiccup in your life, well, how are you going to pay for that now? And so that's going to negatively impact the credit card company, so it negatively impacts your score. It's really easy for a lender like me to say, well, just pay down your balance. Take it down below 50%. And I remember very well having someone say that to me, being my father, right? Say, just pay it down. Yeah, you don't have a credit card. What are you doing? Well, okay, so life got in the way, and that's just how it is, Dad. I have to have a credit card. It did not occur to me until much later in my life that my payment history with that credit card company may allow me to call them up and say, will you increase my credit line? So now instead of utilizing the credit, you have to be strategic and you have to be smart and you have to be disciplined. I've got a $3,000 balance. I'd like a $6,000 limit. Don't use the $3,000.
Don't use the extra, but you have it for your credit.
But now you have it, correct. That instantly will have an impact to the positive to your credit score. And every month in succession beyond that, the same thing will happen. The other thing that impacts credit score significantly, of course, are collections. Right? What most people don't know is that when a medical collection is placed, which is what most people have, and almost everybody has a medical collection from some time and some place in their life.
And if you don't, you probably will.
You will, correct? That's going to come. If we are using an FHA loan, it's not even considered debt. So don't spend your time or your money paying the debt off. If it's already gone to collection, it's already impacted, just let it sit. We're not going to look at it. We're not going to make you pay it down. Other options that we have, which more and more people are beginning to see most lenders have, so regardless of who you choose, your provider should be able to sit down with you. We hop on a credit simulator. So I pull your credit. I now see what's on the credit report. We go through it together and decide what is actually yours and what may not be yours. Things do get placed in error.
There are errors on those, yeah. That's why you should check it at least once a year.
At least once a year, correct. And there's plenty of places you can go to do that. Most people are using their credit card. They can get their credit score, or they can get multiple pieces of information on the backside. But if not, you can go to the 3 major repositories, which is TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and request a copy of your credit report once a year, and you'll get it for free. What you don't get on that credit report is a score. So it's good information to have, but it may not give you the score that you want. But if you sit, if you sit down with your lender, they're going to pull the credit report. They're going to take a look at what's on it, and then if there are negative things or you are below the minimums required for the product you wish to use, I can hop on their simulator And now I can play with your credit, and I can play with balances. I can pay down balances. I can increase credit limits. I can actually, let's say you've not used credit in the last 6 years. You had a credit history. You had any utilization. You've not had any credit that you've used. You have now no score. Well, we need to have a score to be able to do a loan. Um, there is an asterisk, and there's one other product we could use, but let's leave that again for another segment.
Another segment.
On the no credit score loan. But you need to have that credit score. We can hop in the simulator and say, well, let's open a new trade line. And let's do a $300 balance or $300 credit limit with a zero balance. Now, what does that do to your score? Instantly, we can project forward. I can take ourselves, meaning you and me, on your credit report, and we can go through time. I can do a 1 month, 2 month, all the way up to 24 months. And I can simulate what's happening in your credit report with your credit score, and then help you come up with a plan to either pay down the debt, pay down the balances, attack certain items, or remove certain items.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's more.
So a lot can be done to help a credit score.
Yeah, the only thing that won't help a credit score is ignoring it and running away from it. So if you're brave enough to stand up and say, I want to take a look at my credit score, I know that it may be dinged, and I want to have a plan so that I can change some of the outcomes in my life, well, then by all means, raise your hand and let's all get together and be part of that same team and pull in a direction, because it's not as scary as you think it is, and it doesn't take nearly as much as what most people perceive. Many people think,
that's the big thing right there.
When you blow up your score, you're thinking, well, there goes another 7 years. Well, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be that.
No. We can accelerate that significantly. So the greatest thing to remember about credit: pay on time, keep balances below 50% of the available credit limit. Don't be afraid to utilize credit. If you have installment loans, that those, they help over time because it shows a repetitive basis of the ability to pay back and a history of paying back. Utilize some credit. Don't overutilize it. Don't let it take over your life. But by all means, you want to have some good debt, so to speak.
Sure.
That's out there. And then if something happens, don't be afraid to look at it. Don't be afraid to adjust it, because that's the only way it's going to change.
And it can be fixed easily. So there you have it, folks. There's quite a few different ways. Even if your credit is not as stellar as you'd like it to be, or even if it's less than stellar, there are some ways, right now, to fix it right now, or some things you can do to immediately start to fix it. And then there's other, if it's way there, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with Jeff. And he's got quite a few different plans to help you get to where you need to be, which is right back to me to get a house.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Hey,
Thank you so
welcome.
much. I
Thanks
appreciate
for
it. Thanks for hope you learned something today on another edition of We Live Here, We Love Here, We Work Here with Sold by Sonnie. Buy with confidence, sell to success. Thanks a lot. Bye, guys. Bye.